Scorch Rainmaker. And in favor of GMU Patriots. And then for SplatSCAD Black, they answer with a knockout of their own. So this is going to be a very intense game number 3, Stark.
Mm-hmm. Everything is getting put on the line right now. As I mentioned before, you mentioned before, DRF, that we are best of 3. So whoever wins this next game will be going on forward for the remainder of the circuit, while the loser will get the points they have at their current round level and just be unfortunately sent home, which, making it this far, those points are still worth something, but you always want to go for more.
Yes, absolutely. You've already been playing for almost 3 hours. You don't want the party to end here and in this way. So we are definitely holding our breath, because this is going to be a tense game number 3 once we can get that up. I believe we're still having some small technical difficulties here on the back end.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I do want to say that I am very curious to see exactly what I generally want to know, like, what SplatSCAD did that last game in order to just take a knockout over GMU Patriots, because we saw in the first hand that on the first game, GMU Patriots pretty single-handedly just dominated the entirety of the game. And then, even though we were unfortunately able to see that the second game, it is from words from our producers in the back that SplatSCAD got a knockout over GMU Patriots. So I'm very, very intrigued to see exactly what has changed since then.
Yes, and there we go. We now got a look in here on our end, and it is very early. It's going to be GMU Patriots with a dominant opening, and they're going to get 2 down plus control of the zone. And I mean, that's probably what the story of this match has been, is these openings. Whoever can get that early established control ends up running away with it. But SCAD is going to have a good answer here with that suction bomb on the pillow that GMU did not see coming.
Awareness is the key to a map like this, because there could be all kinds of bombs, all kinds of just buckets or blasters hanging under these ledges, around these corners, getting these picks where you don't have no idea where it came from. And SplatSCAD is just desperately trying to maintain control over the zone, but GMU Patriots were just able to flip that instantly and already broken away from their penalty points and getting a few extra points on their side before SplatSCAD is finally able to contest it once again, doing whatever they can to hopefully flip it back in their favor. But it's just a fight for the zone.
Yeah, very intense battle right now as GMU does lose their bucket player. The Reef Slider continues to come in clutch. Brute timing those perfectly as Kitsune finds the 2 from long range onto Stamper, trying to hunt down the 3rd. Can they find it? No, I don't think they'll get it in time. They will recall, trying to find somebody on the landing. Not going to be able to do so. SplatSCAD Black going 2 down. They close in on this lead, but they won't find it in time. GMU will flip the zone back in their favor. 3 minutes to play.
And a beautiful movement from GMU Patriots, just fear their players going in forward, collapsing on each player one by one, just getting these picks that they need to in order to create even more space to set themselves up for even more success, as those penalty points are once again broken away almost instantly. GMU Patriots just continuing their offense and not being able to let SplatSCAD get through at all.
But here comes the Re-Slider again, trying to cheese it, not able to do so. They only get the neutral, and that's 3 down. SplatSCAD, Link, the only one standing right now. They have to try to get something going quickly. They needed to capitalize on that Reef Slider, and it just barely missed. And with this, I'm not sure if that Zipcaster was the right move at the right time. GMU, they're going to try to force it with the flip there. No, not able to do so. And GMU Patriots will run away with this game and the set and move on to round 2.
Oh, wow, folks. That game genuinely almost went down to the wire. GMU Patriots were 5 points away, almost getting hit with a severe amount of penalty points from SplatSCAD if they were able to cap that. But the Reef Slider just wasn't enough for that flip, and it unfortunately costed them the game, knocking them out from the circuit qualifier.
Look at this replay though, because look, the second that reef slider is ready, you just see them activate it, and the GMU Patriots, the three of them on the backside of that zone, all perfectly backed up in sync to avoid that explosion radius, because they recognized that SplatSCAD had been heavily relying on that reef slider to cap it the first 2 times. So that's a fantastic mid-game adjustment out of GMU Patriots to recognize what it was going to take for them to knock this one out right there and then.
Beautiful plays from both of these teams. GMU Patriots does end up managing to take this game home, bringing it to 2-1 over SplatSCAD, who, as unfortunately, their run ends here and now. And although it is just how these things are arranged, someone does have to go home here. They do get a decent amount of points actually for making it this far, so it isn't a complete waste of time for them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both teams did a fantastic job in that group stage, the Swiss stage. So both teams are going to be walking out of here with at least 100 or so points. I think both teams will probably be walking out with close to 200 points at the very least. GMU Patriots looking at more on top of that because they're going to get 25 points per game. So the fact that they finished middle of the pack in each of their groups, or, towards the top, I believe SplatSCAD was 4th in Group B and GMU was 5th in Group A. So that's typically right around that, 3-1, 2-2 threshold. So they're, at the very least, I'm pretty confident that SCAD's walking out with 100 points.
And you did mention this before, dear, before we went live, how that, it was either you or someone else, I'm pretty sure it was you, how earlier in the game, everyone in Division 1, they've lost a game or lost 2 games. It's like no one's made it this far with a perfect record. Everyone's lost to someone at least one time, and I think that just goes to show how tight this division has been so far, especially with this last game. It came down to the literal wire with just a mid-game adjustment, which you don't see a lot of teams do very well, or not very well, but very often. That adjustment to the reef slider was phenomenal, and it's what gave them the game this time around.
Absolutely. And we actually already have our next matchup that is currently being set up. It is going to be CSULB Gold out of Long Beach State taking on the Red Emberz, a fan favorite out of Illinois State University. It's going to be our 4 versus 5 seed matchup in this top cut.
I've been doing CCA a lot, and every time I cast, I always have trouble remembering team names and what they do, but it's only here where I'm actually finally starting to recognize team names, and I know that these two teams are very well cut. And I mean, they made it to Division 1 for a reason, so I expect very high things. I don't know too much exactly what they might bring, but I do recognize the names, and that's an improvement for me.
Hey, it's almost like having a consistent brand is a great thing for the community. I'm gonna stop there though before I start a Twitter fight. So that's all I'm gonna say. But you're right though, Dark. These are 2 very familiar brands, but given that this is a new academic year, that does mean fairly new looks at the roster, as CSULB Gold had a couple of players graduate. So they had to pull up a couple players from their Division 3 winning JV team, CSULB Black. So now we're getting, is this a new super team? I don't know. They took a couple of fantastic players from that Black team. And this team has already really proven itself as one of the top contenders to watch out for, as they finished 2nd place in their group in the Swiss stage. They beat the UCF Knights, who is another very storied program here at the CCA. So they've already made a lot of noise early on. And of course, Red Emberz, everybody knows them from this last year. Everybody loves them, but they too are fairly new look. Like, they're bringing in a couple of new players. Corona focusing a little bit more on coaching the team as opposed to playing this time around. So it's a all new ball game. And these 2 teams played each other multiple times last season on top of that. So is this the same story continued, or is this a brand new story?
One thing I always love with the CCA is, even with each academic year, there are a few teams who have players leave and who have new players come in and fill in those spots. It's just like this constant, rotating story of like legacy and just what your history has done in the past and what your team has done in the past with their history, and what you can do as players to live up to that name, live up to that story. And hearing that both these teams have like new players on their roster means that those new players have a bit of a big shoe to fill in, especially if what you said is true, they are like well known, like just clashing in previous seasons. Like, I am very excited to see exactly what explosives we might see coming from these two teams.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun. And as I look at the bracket as well, we're starting to get set up with this lobby. But across Division 1 as well, Old Bay Brigade, who had a phenomenal first phase of this match, loses in round 1 to Arc Halley, who is one of the UT Dallas teams reinvented. Honestly, really kind of shocked there. I mean, both teams are phenomenal, just kind of looking at the rosters. But Old Bay Brigade just had one of the most convincing Swiss stages. So the #1 overall seed coming into Top Cut gets knocked out round 1. The UCF Knights also going down to newcomers, Texas A&M University, their first go here at the CCA. And they have already taken down one of the biggest, baddest programs the CCA has to offer.
I may have moved recently, but I am still a Texas kid through and through. So hearing you mention 2 Texas teams knock out 2 big leagues names, and it fills me with just a little bit of pride with what my home state has done. And it is a bit of upset to see like big names go down so early. But it also gives way for these newer teams to actually make their stand, make their name be known just almost immediately. Like knocking out someone that's like a very well-known high-level team here from the CCA in your first round in the qualifiers. That's gotta put like a little bit of fear in the opponents who are coming to face your team, because they also most likely have lost to that same team who just got knocked out. And if this new team just comes along and knocks out a big name just like that, you're gonna be thinking to yourself like, oh, so what did they do to beat someone that we've had struggles with in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, really exciting stuff to just see, new programs and newly reinvented teams and rosters coming in here and making some noise already. We are getting the strikeouts that have been finalized here. It looks like Red Emberz is removing Clamblett's Mako Mart from the map list, and Long Beach removing Splatzone's Marlin. Darn it. I was hoping to see some good Zones Marlin gameplay.
I know with my time in the community in the past few months that Marlin has always been a hot topic of debate, and the general consensus is that no one really likes that map. So take that as you will with the map quality. I never really have a chance to play it, so I really can't say one way or another, but that doesn't matter right now. Marlin's out for a reason. Right now, we're on Barnacle and Dime as these two teams go off immediately, heading out to mid to see exactly what's going to be done first and who gets the first pick.
Yeah, it's going to be an early clash in mid as these teams are running some, Red Emberz running a very traditional composition. Long Beach bringing out the Orange Zap and Octobrush, 2 weapons that you don't really get to see a lot of. But so far, Dark, it looks like Red Emberz is the early aggressors here, but they might have just overstretched themselves a little bit as they go 2 down, but Long Beach also going to find themselves 2 down, so these teams are going to kind of just settle into a neutral state, but Red Emberz continues to really take advantage of that paint control that they hold.
It is a game of footsies right now, as both these teams are still standing at a relatively neutral state right now, as they're just back and forth picks, back and forth specials being used. But Cold comes in and gets 2 picks, creating so much space as Red Emberz is being forced on the back foot, as now they have the power come ready, and no, there's still one player standing against the pick, but the Zipcaster gets the trade back just in the nick of time.
That was a triple from the Octobrush. But I think that a lot of their teammates have gone down too. Make it 4 in a row. Finally going to get shut down. It is an absolute ink bath right now in mid between these two teams. Nobody getting the upper hand. Red Emberz seems like they continue to just hold a very slight advantage in terms of paint control. But Long Beach has done a fantastic job of pushing them back and punishing every little extension out of Red Emberz so far. Take a look at this. It's going to be 3 down. The Galova stretches, make it a delayed wipe, and Long Beach flips the tide in a hurry. They will get the first score of the game.
I was just about to mention how we might just see a Clampet's tried and true special where it's just like 5 minutes stall fest. But see, the gold just comes in and gets a wipeout immediately and brings the scoreboard down to 40 points remaining before 3 players does go down. But that heavy edit gets some work done and does not go down without getting a standing fight as they take 2 away before retreating, as this game now returns back to a neutral state in mid. Red Emberz having to do a lot of work right now to try and make up for that huge loss they had.
A great jump out there from Long Beach. They're gonna give up mid, but it looks like it's the Brush once again. Might have gotten another triple, and it's Long Beach riding the waves of the Octo Brush, who is having one of the best games of their lives right now. There's still over 2 minutes in this game to go, and Long Beach is looking to add to their score, but Dark, it feels like this game has been going on forever.
That Brush is just putting in the work, just going in and getting constant triples after triples after triples, just multi-spats and creating so much space. It's no wonder that they got away with a 41-point lead and in the single first push. But now the tides are being turned a bit as Red Emberz now picks up their own, not without a trade, as the unfortunate splat bomb comes out of nowhere. It slows down the push, potentially stopping it right then and there as Gold comes in and holds their ground, denying them from entry.
A great defensive stop there. I mean, that's what we learned a lot about Long Beach, especially the Long Beach Black team that won Division 3 in the spring. They were defensive titans. They make it so difficult for the opponent to score every single time, and they are doing that yet again here. But specials coming out from Red Emberz, 2 balls in their possession. They're gonna try and force a play with 2 down here. This could be their window of opportunity. Make it 3. Here comes the first ball, second ball in tow. They dunk it in. If they can find a third, they will get the lead, but for now they're gonna have to settle for a series of little clams, and I don't know if they're gonna keep this basket open for long, but they're in a great position to try and just keep this slow drip of points going. Clementine has another ball, but not enough time to get to the basket. It's a 10-point game, Dark. 40 seconds to play, and this game now can go either way that Red Emberz has closed the gap.
It's going to be a play for who's just going to be the first one to crack under this pressure. 25 seconds and counting. There is a 10-point differential between these two teams. Whoever gets the first pick might have the opening to break away that lead. And with the first 2 going for Red Emberz, not before a trade out for Gold as they hold their ground, but there's a 4-player going against the game for the backline, and they get 2 backlines into the last second. As this game is probably going to go over into overtime as Gold has 2 backlines on the side. They gotta do something right here and now if they want to take this game away.
Red Emberz again. They have stayed true to coming back in the 11th hour, and they wipe it out. This one is over, folks. A game 1 thriller between Red Emberz and Long Beach Gold. Red Emberz will come out on top. They do it again, Dark. Red Emberz, it might be a new academic year, but it's the same old Red Emberz that goes down early and clutches up hard.
At a complete loss of words, DRF. That just a sudden turn of events. Long Beach had such a huge lead that slipped away with the 1 push, bringing it closing the gap to 10-point differential. And this initial 2 picks from Emberz was most likely the key and the opening Gold needed to just slip in and get these 2 power clamps in and taking this game right then and there.
Did you see the replay there? The move by Yoshi to pull back And that forced Filmopolis to slightly change their view because they had an opportunity to knock out that power clam before it got scored. But Yoshi kind of coming in and forcing 2v1 for a brief second right here. You know, they had to just hesitate, adjust a little bit, and that bought Clementine just barely enough time to get that second power clam in.
It's those kinds of plays, those just like minute, just like adjustments you make in the heat. Pressure is the thickest right in those final seconds. The blood is like running through your entire body. You're probably just not even focusing on anything else other than that fight right then and there. And just make those micro adjustments in order so you can get that game right then and there. I don't think it gets any better than that here in the CCA. I'm gonna be honest here. Like I've never seen anything like that.
That was such a thrilling game one. It really felt like that game was going on forever. Like we still had, you know, 2 minutes left, and I thought we had already been going for 5-6 minutes. That game had multiple lives to it. So I can only imagine what we will get in game number 2, which will be Tower Control Manta Maria.
Here's the question now for Long Beach Gold is what do they do? What adjustments do they make? Are they going to make playstyle adjustments? Are they going to bring out new weapons? You know, it's the tried and true question does come into play here with the comps received from the last game. A more traditional style of comp or something that's relatively off meta to keep your opponents just like on their feet, not knowing exactly how to play into just this weird mess of a comp. You know, it's and each weapon comp style has its own merits, has its own downfalls, and so it's just a really tried and true question that I always love seeing to this day.
Well, let's see what adjustments we get. We see some dualies coming out, the on-parry dualies, and the Gray Zap out of Filmopolis try to get some cooler, a little bit faster movement. I do agree with this play as well. I think that Long Beach would benefit a lot from, you know, keeping that cooler around, you know, because I believe previously they had it out of the heavy edit. So they need to just keep that the team movement just going really, really fast here.
Ooh, and playing fast is what we're seeing here as Red Emberz is already having that tower pushed up to that first checkpoint with the triple ink strikes, with the vacuum. But the brush from the backline does cause some mayhem, not letting Red Emberz take that first checkpoint, getting the momentum shifted to Long Beach's gold.
Oh, and look at the dualies rushing into the street. That is a huge splash down there. Tails looking for another one, but forced into a one-on-one with Zolo. But Zolo's going to win that one out. First checkpoint cleared out of Long Beach Gold. They're trying to see how far they can push this tower. Despite the numbers disadvantage, they're going to retreat back into mid, though. Just try to hold their position and see if they can find another opportunity, a couple of picks to keep this tower going.
As things reset back to a neutral state. Something to keep in mind with Manta Marina Tower is that those first checkpoints don't really matter too much since they're so early in the path. They will most likely always be getting by either team. The real point of contention here is that second checkpoint, especially in the alley heading towards that final checkpoint, because once you get past that point, that's when the snowballing starts. That's when it starts becoming very hard to try and fight back. And we see Long Beach Gold has that tower sitting at that second checkpoint, just waiting to get pushed up a little bit further as Red Emberz is down one player who is just coming in back to spawn.
Oh, and that's 2 down Red Emberz. Long Beach now trying to take advantage of the situation to get the next checkpoint. They will get it, but Mude is able to find 3, and that is going to shut down the Long Beach push. A massive hero play as Red Emberz goes 3 down. Mude is able to prevent the Long Beach rush.
Now as Long Beach Gold does come back to play to try and contest that tower, they do unfortunately lose one to a trade out as that Red Emberz has the tower at the first checkpoint. First checkpoint is early on the path. It doesn't really matter. What these players want to try and stop is letting that tower get to the second checkpoint. And with the Zipcaster online going in, creating some chaos, they do cause enough chaos for that to deny Red Emberz from pushing that tower to that second checkpoint.
Oh, a great stop there. They prevent even the second checkpoint from being touched. But Yoshi finds 2 in a 2v1 situation, literally backed into a corner, and they get the maximum value that they could have asked for there.
Constant back and forth trades between these two teams. Long Beach Gold now is at the player disadvantage as Red Emberz is taking a mid as they're taking control of the tower to try and get a few more points on their side. 1 minute 45 seconds remaining. Red Emberz has specials at the ready to try and get a few extra, those points really get going. That tower inching forward to that second checkpoint, but it's just it's a bloodbath as these teams are just constantly getting these back and forth trades with each other.
Zolo gonna take advantage of these trip strikes, trying to force the checkpoint, but Long Beach answers with trip strikes of their own and saves the checkpoint. It is a 6-point difference between these two teams. 1 minute and 20 to play. Red Emberz trying to hold an aggressive front, but unable to do so. Long Beach now inching their way back into mid. The splashdown at the ready for a possible sneaky surprise, and there it goes on the ramp, not able to find anybody. They're gonna back up though. Created just enough chaos to push Red Emberz back momentarily. 1 minute to go. No specials at the ready, but there is a cooler on the field for Red Emberz to work with. They are going to go down. 55 seconds. This is going back and forth. Dark, I think at this stage, whoever wins this next team fight will probably end up winning the game.
That might be true, but also Red Emberz was in a situation like this last game. But what am I saying? As 3 goes down to the dualies, Red Emberz only has 1 player remaining. As we head into the final 30 seconds, it's gonna be a madman dash to that tower to try and prevent it from going any much further. As these two teams are desperately wanting to close this game out here and now for Red Emberz, so they can move on to this next series of the circuit and for gold, so they could not go home after this game. 18 seconds are remaining. This could still go either way.
It still could, but Long Beach is in the favorable position in the closing 10 seconds. They find the very necessary pick on Filmopolis there. They need to capitalize on this and get on that tower. They do. Zolo's the one riding. It's a 2v2 situation. And Tails with a huge double! Oh, what a fall-off slosh to close that one out. Dark, we are headed to another game 3.
These teams are here to fight. No one wants to go home here as Long Beach Gold manages to win this game and prevent an overtime victory from Emberz, bringing the score to a 1-1 scenario. There is blood in the waters and they want this victory.
They do. They are gonna send this one the full distance. What a play there. Just this game ending exactly how this game had gone, all 5 minutes with another bloodbath. And Tails, I think it was the bomb plus the slosh there that got those final 2 picks. A series of hero plays defined this game, and we are now headed to the final destination of what is this set, and that's going to be Rainmaker Robo Ramen.
These two teams have shown exactly why they made it this far in round 2 for this bracket right now. Long Beach Gold versus Red Emberz. It's such a back and forth game. Red Emberz back to the walls, Gold back to the walls. It could go either way with how these teams have been playing. And Rainmaker and Robo Ramen. I am a Robo Ramen fan through and through.
Yes.
I love this map so much. You have so much room to play around with. You have so much verticality. There's the path under. There's just a lot you can do. And a lot of weapons you can pull out here that to make anything work really smoothly. So it's really going to come down to how these players actually play.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this section of bracket, are Halley and Jimmy Patriots also going to a game 3. So the winner of this matchup will play the winner of that matchup. And honestly, I have never seen a collection of 4 teams that have made me so excited in the CCA to be battling it out in a series of best of 3s. This is going to be such a close finish. Only one of these teams can make it to the finals and contend for the 250 points that comes with winning a qualifier.
Time is being put into this. How long have they been playing? Like almost 4 hours.
We're at 3.5 hours. So we're probably looking at about, we said that we were going to try to get everyone out within 4 hours. We're probably looking closer to about 4.5. So to all you folks, I do apologize. You're college students. You stay up late anyways. So let's do this one, Dark. It is Rainmaker, Robo Robin, winner, moving on to the top 4. Let's take a look at these compositions.
Pressure is definitely stacked right now. As I am just eyeing that Splattershot Pro. Never mind, we got a quick remake. I have no idea what happened in there. I am not the one to act like I know what happened then and there.
No idea. So I guess that, from what we're hearing, it is a substitution issue. So somebody's going to be making some roster adjustments here. Try to bring out a closer, cue the Edwin Diaz music, the Mariano Rivera's, it's time. Enter Sandman, trying to put the opposition to sleep here.
I'm very much excited to see exactly how these teams will be playing out, and a little bit of a ping from what I've got from our production here, a little bit of a history lesson. Long Beach apparently only took 2 games off of Red Emberz last season on Rainmaker Humpback. So do that what you will. It might be seeming it could be going, this game could go to Long Beach Gold, but there is still the fact that there are new players on both of these teams, so it could be a completely different story here.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because Neptune's the one that's queuing us there with that information, and he is absolutely right. The both times was because Red Emberz on Rainmaker Humpback got a little cute and decided to swing the Rainmaker left in Rainmaker Humpback. And the funny thing is they did it the first time in the group stage, and then they met again in round 1 of the Division 1 playoffs, and in their keys to victory they said, don't go left. And what did they do? They went left. So, make of that what you will, like you said, Dark. But we are looking at possibly writing a new chapter in this rivalry between Long Beach Gold and Red Emberz. And this first chapter has already gotten off to a couple of really spicy paragraphs. And I'm excited to see what the conclusion of this little sub-chapter is.
Can they break away from what they've written themselves into from their past? That's really the ultimate question here. As we're still waiting a little bit longer, and I'm so eager. I did see that Splattershot Pro, which I'm not sure if that was meant to be someone who's swapping out or if that was actually one of the sub-ins or whatnot. But Splattershot Pro is not a weapon you hardly see at all. Like, there's so many weapons that just outclass it like so much. So I was genuinely taken aback when I saw that.
Yeah, no, I was definitely very surprised by that too. So we'll see if that was just a, hey, this game doesn't matter, or, they were genuinely planning to pick that. So we will see in just a few moments. It sounds like the teams are back in weapon select. We do have the substitutions. I'm not sure if the substitutions on Long Beach or Red Emberz side. We'll see if we can get that information. It sounds like it's coming from Long Beach. So thank you to our producer for letting us know of that. So Long Beach is going to be making an adjustment. So they're the ones that are going to start playing Enter Sandman here. It's Hydro that is going to be stepping up to the plate and closing out one of the biggest sets of Long Beach's, somewhat recent history.
Pressure is stacking here. Game 3. Whoever loses this does go home and has to settle with the points associated with the round. But with an instant pull from Long Beach Gold, Red Emberz is being forced on a little bit of back foot, not without a pick of their own, as we're playing a game of footsies right now, trying to see exactly who's going to be taking the first advantage right here and now.
Just early on again, stalemate between these two squads. Tails looking for a pick. Able to find it. I'm kind of surprised by that one. It did not look like Tails had to look there. Mude is now trying to prevent this Long Beach push. Luckily for Red Emberz, they only got that to about 92 remaining. That could have been so much worse with that staggered 3 down. And they are now able to start working their way forward a little bit. But no, that's 3 3 down again. Mude is going to have to be forced back. See if they can prevent the push beyond the checkpoint, having to concede it. And with a minute in, it's all Long Beach Gold. They're in full control of this game right now.
In a blink and you miss it play, Long Beach Gold instantly flip the script right now as they're the ones who get this first checkpoint going, and they're looking to see exactly if they can get a few extra points on that scoreboard. It looks like they do not, as Red Emberz just holds their ground and just stalls it out, so the Rainmaker reset does bring the fight back to mid, as both teams are just playing it out to see exactly who's going to be getting the first pick off this next section, and Gold does go down first, giving the advantage to Red Emberz as they get that pop, potentially that Rainmaker, and hopefully get that checkpoint check.
Oh, and look at the brush. I'm trying to make a big play there, but no, barely missing the mark, having to take a step back, again, conceding the checkpoint. So we go checkpoint for checkpoint in the opening 2 minutes, and now we get the checkpoint. But it looked like Red Emberz was in a great position to do so, and now they're even in an even better position to add points to the board. Whales at the ready, but no, it's gonna be Zolo that picks it up, so no Whales here. But look at them ride this all the way down to 9 points remaining. Red Emberz with a scoring explosion. Long Beach now in a massive deficit, but they have a little over half of this game to find a response.
Riding the serve, Red Emberz takes this situation for Long Beach Gold to a near knockout scenario, at least that's what I like to call it, meaning that in order to even contest those 9 points remaining, Long Beach Gold might as well have the opening to actually knock this out, which could be proven a difficult task here with how Red Emberz have been playing in the past. But right now, the momentum does shift into Long Beach Gold as they pick up the Rainmaker. They're slowly flushing Red Emberz out to try and get those points back onto their side.
Clementine shutting down that Rainmaker, able to help assist a second pick there. 2v2 situation around this Rainmaker. Octobrush sharking again. Hasn't been able to quite make the same plays that we saw to them in game 1. Just not as many good sharking opportunities. Just possibly even just a little bit of nerves at the pressure of a game 3 right now. Long Beach has to find an answer. They need to start moving up just inch by inch and slowly forcing Red Emberz back. There's gonna be an inkjet ready. Hydro's gonna go ahead and pop it, able to help their teammate get one. Rainmaker though forced to go head to head with Clementine there, not able to find them, able to finally, no, they didn't even get Clementine. Clementine was able to back off, get the pick, and pop that cooler. So Red Emberz in a great defensive position right now, despite the Rainmaker being on their half of the map.
Massive tempo control right now for Red Emberz as we're headed to the final minute of this game 3. They have such a dominant holding right now that Long Beach Gold has to start trying out these hero plays, starting being the hero to try and get these triple kills from the backline in order to crack Red Emberz up. But Red Emberz has a Rainmaker right now and looking to try and make sure this Rainmaker is as far away as their final checkpoint as they can make it.
3 specials at the ready for Long Beach. They're gonna use all of them here, it seems, to try to get this Rainmaker. Oh, a Pulse Elixir, able to find a massive double, and this is a very vulnerable spot now for Red Emberz. 30 seconds to play. This could be disastrous for Red Emberz, but Long Beach needs to get everybody up and in front. But no, it's not. Nobody's in position to do so. The Octobrush gonna pick up the Rainmaker. 48 points remaining, but it looks like with one member, it was the Splash that ran it down for Red Emberz, creating absolute chaos. Long Beach now trying to make something of this situation. We're going down to the last 10 seconds. A bunch of specials being unleashed here. Hydro with the ink jet. No, it's not going to be enough. Can they pop the barrier in time? It's not going to be enough time. And Red Emberz survives game 3 to advance to the semifinals.
Oh, wow. Such a huge opening from the beginning. Taking all the way down to 9 points meant that Red Emberz play that game, the remainder of the game, however they want. And with this victory, they broke the record from previous games, finally taking off this Rainmaker game, at least off of Long Beach.
Oh my goodness. What a new chapter for these two teams. I hope we get to watch them play again in future qualifiers, because that was so much fun and that was just a top 8 matchup.
Absolutely. This right here is a vendetta being made for the remainder of this circuit. A literal a buzzer timer victory here, as it was just a mad scramble to make sure the other team couldn't get their rainmaker from their own team. It's just utter chaos, and it is unfortunately for Long Beach Gold that Red Emberz does take this game, sending them home as Red Ember heads on to grand finals. Am I right?
No, semifinals. We still got 2 more matches, Dark, and we have our next matchup already. So it's going to be PSU Blue versus Splatlanders. But I think for our sake, let's take this opportunity to give ourselves a quick 2-minute breather as we get the lobby set up, because we still got a best of 3 semifinals and a best of 5 grand finals to get to. So it is still probably about another 40 minutes to an hour of crazy Splatoon action here at the CCA. So let's go ahead. We'll break very quickly, and PSU Blue versus Splatlanders will be ready on the other side. Welcome back to CCA Circuit Qualifier number 1. I am DRF, joined by Dark again, and we are here in the semifinals for what I think is going to be another banger matchup. We have the Splatlanders out of the New Jersey Institute of Technology taking on Penn State PSU Blue, one of the longest storied teams in the CCA, who, again, new year, new roster, couple of adjustments. Vapor's with us on the production desk. They also do bring in V, who has showed up at a couple of CCA events. So this is still a very, very scary Penn State team taking on Splatlanders, who have had astronomical growth in the past 365 days.
Yeah, no, I know Splatlanders. I'm pretty sure I've casted 1 or 2 of their games. I know they are a name to be remembered. For what for exactly, I'm still working on memory, but I know their name. I'm telling you, DRF, that is a constant bit I've had from my entire career. I'm never going to stop bringing that up. But yeah, no, you mentioned that these 2 teams are very seasoned. I know PSU is a long-standing team here at the CCA, and I know that if there were high standards before in the past few games, there's high standards here for this game.
Yes, I mean, Red Emberz and Long Beach set the bar very high, but I think PSU and Splatlanders can answer it. So we will have to see what comes of this set, because both of these teams, if I had to kind of just take an early guess, I was really, these 2 teams were in my top 4, 100%. If I probably had to take a guess, you know, of the teams that are in the top 4, I would say 3 of them I was pretty spot on about. I was kind of thinking that PSU and Splatlanders, this could have been a finals match, but they're going to be meeting here in the semifinals. And the winner of this will face the winner of Red Emberz versus Halley. The UT Dallas team reinvented that we talked about. Went 1-3 in the Swiss stage, barely squeaking into this top cut by like 2% on opponent win percentage. I'm not even kidding, dog. They barely squeaked in, and now they're guaranteed at least 4th place.
I gotta say, for a new team here, at least a reinvented team here at CCA, you gotta be feeling pretty good at that. But making it this far, you know, why not go the full mile, knock out Red Emberz, and go up against one of these 2 Titans here as we start this game to see exactly who's gonna be moving on to Grand Finals.
Oh, so Vapor may not be in the lobby, but Kevin is channeling that Vapor energy with the Explosher for Penn State. So it's almost like we can still hear the cries of Vapor in this game here.
Ooh, and already PSU are trying to get them work their magic. At the Splatlanders, their defense is proving too hard and strong with a wipeout, and they're zooming in to try and capitalize off this and make sure they can stall them out for as long as they can, not without an unfortunate maybe get pushed up a little bit too forward for KO in return.
Wow, Splatlanders with a huge team fight, pushing them all the way up into PSU spawn, maybe getting a little bit too excited there. You know, it's great to be able to try to initiate the lockout, but they do lose a member, and this will enable PSU Blue an opportunity to creep back into this game. The clock is still ticking, though. Finally going to get a neutral game with 33 points remaining, but Splatlanders continues to hold on, finding a 1-for-1. This zone needs to be neutralized quickly. Jay on the brush, able to find another V, trying to take a 2v1 here, but not able to find anybody, just trying to stay protected, and finally they do get the zone flip. I don't know how Penn State pulled that one off, but they breathe for just a second because they bought themselves at least another couple minutes.
That flip is huge for PSU Blue. Exactly what you want to see. Splatlanders managing to take it to 100-12 in a single hold. That's a devastating lead that you have to try and climb up against. But now it's PSU who's going to be one initiating a lockout scenario, trying to push Splatlanders as far back as they can using whatever tool they have at their advantage right now. And we'll see a trade out followed by the Ingzuka to potentially create some more spaces for the Splatlanders to come in. It's just utter chaos as 2 goes down for Splatlanders.
Oh, this is getting spicy here. This is just back and forth between these 2 squads as they're just trying to find, you know, some smart fights, but there's just so many fights that kind of get, you know, broken off from the main group. It's PSU Blue that's still in control of these zones, but it's gonna be Chris with a double. Let's try to make it a triple. Yes, it is. And Chris looking to keep going. Finally forced to back off with a couple of bombs from PSU, but the damage has been done, and Cyan now making a move, not able to find a pick there, but the Zuka coming in, finding 2 more. Oh, what a splat with a huge pick there as well, and this penalty is ticking away quickly, Dark.
This is turning into a very dangerous situation for PSU Blue, as those penalty points are all practically good as gone now, as they finally are able to try and potentially contest this zone, but Splatlanders are just on the standby, hoping to try and flush out any attempt, and it's going to be a scramble for the zones right now, as 3 tick down to 6 points and remaining, and it's a back and forth between these 2 points before PSU can finally actually get control over it. I'm stumbling over these words as they're just fighting over the zone, but they do manage to take control. PSU Blue now pushing Splatlanders back.
This is absolutely wild. These teams just cannot help just walking into each other's spawns as V finds 2 plus the assist. Cyan, the last one standing. The penalty gone for Penn State. They are trying to close this lead, see if they can take it back. but no, it's going to be Jay that goes down, but it's 3 down for the Splatlanders, and PSU Blue looking to try to close this one out. V marching forward. Splatlanders need to get some specials quickly. They might need to just give up this lead, and that they will do. They might give up this game, and PSU Blue will run away with it. Despite being down big early, they respond and take game 1. Holy crap, Dark.
In a turn of events, PSU Blue just flips the script and pushes Splatlanders out with a triple, just sealing their fate right then and there, taking this first game away. I genuinely don't know what I just witnessed here.
Dark, we have had 6 beautiful games. I know that that Robo game between what was it, SCAD and GMU would have been fantastic as well if it was on stream. But we need to do something about this. We're not going to be able to get to the last game if this is what we're going to be dealing with every single time.
And I genuinely agree with you with that, but the thing is, this is what CCA's legacy has built to up to this point. After a good handful of years, these teams know each other well. They know what needs to be done in order to secure these victories, and it's only here with teams like these who know each other this well that you get games like this consistently.
Yeah, that was just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss of a game 1 right there. PSU Blue was down early, and they did a fantastic job of rallying behind each other. V just showing that they're going to be the rookie to watch out for this season, because they've played in a couple of other CCA events. You know, we've seen them in some opens and some free agent events, but V finally getting a chance to represent Penn State, and so far has made a massive impact.
There are teams and players on these teams to be looking out for, and with New Year's comes new blood, and they are the epitome of the new blood to watch out for. Game 1 was a beautiful game for PSU Blue, just utterly flipping that table like right around. And now as we head into game number 2, we're going to be looking at Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track.
Yes, we will. And this is just one of those Rainmaker maps. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows how to play it. So there should be no real surprises here between either of these teams. So it's one of those things that's who's simply going to execute better. That's what it's going to come down to, making sure that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And whoever is able to do that a little bit better is going to win this game.
And we don't see too much of a weapon change up, only that ballpoint coming out, and so the explosion from what I remember from last game anyways. Now these two teams are just going at it at the Rainmaker show. PSU Blue getting the first pop as they're looking to contest any other members on Splatlanders, potentially getting those picks off early. That wiper going down immediately.
Yeah, it is a quick clash in mid. Snow trying to dance around their wall, going back and forth, and finally just forced to back all the way up. Cyan with the roll, finds 1, finds 2, and somehow gets out of there at the same time. Jerry gonna make a move in now, trying to pick off V, but V is gonna win this 1v1. This checkpoint should fall, but no, the Rainmaker did get stalled in mid, it seems. One of the Penn State players with a nice flank, and now it's 3 down. V gonna try to stop this Rainmaker on their own with the Zuka, but not able to do so. First checkpoint goes down in favor of Splatlanders, and they're in a great position on this elbow to add more points to the board and ride the tails of this Tentebrella.
When that Tentebrella does going down, but it doesn't seem like anyone's going to be there to follow it up, as we see V just sharking there, waiting for the right moment to pop out and potentially stall us out. There's just constant specials being back and forth used, but the Rainmaker does reset, meaning Splatlanders are forced to back up and give some space, giving PSU Blue the chance to try and contest mid once again, but not without their own players down.
Yeah, Splatlanders decided to play it a little bit safe there. I think they really had an opportunity to just risk it a bit and try to just quickly add some points to the board. But they're going to go with the mentality of no lead is ever safe in Rainmaker Humpback. You really need to get that into the teens, and they felt like they were not going to get that on that push. So they opted to go ahead and just let this reset. Jay now going to pick it up and clear the checkpoint in a very open pathway there, and now PSU will get the lead now. So Splatlanders maybe with a missed opportunity there early on, and now they are just scrambling to try and keep this Rainmaker out of Penn State's hands and avoid a absolutely massive lead from ballooning here.
21 points remaining from PSU Blue. Splatlanders have a bit of a mountain to climb for themselves, and we head to the halfway point of this game. They do manage to get one pick, potentially a second there. There goes two down to the wiper. As the Rainmaker does reset, Splatlanders has a chance here to make some moves right now to get a few extra points on their side.
Jay going 1 for 1 there. The roller trying to pick off V, but there's some support coming in. V is going to be protected by a guardian angel there, and now is able to move on up and try to push out Chris, but Chris is going to be flanking with the heavy edit. They are going to be painting a pathway for if someone actually wants to pick up this Rainmaker and make a quick play, but no, it's going to be J Money that's going to pick this one up and take advantage of Splatlanders being out of position here. The hammer going to come out. It's going to be shut down. It's just Wanna Splat, and that's a wipeout, and that will do it. Penn State is going to be heading to the Qualifier 1 Grand Finals.
In a neck-to-neck game one, just got instantly turned to a knockout slam dunk game two with PSU Blue on Rainmaker Humpback Pump Check, sending Splatlanders home from the semifinals. That's gotta hurt a bit for them.
Yeah, that is definitely unfortunate for the Splatlanders. They looked so good. They had some great looks, especially game one, game two. I mean, even early in game two, they had an open pathway, and they just opted to play just a little bit safe. They just could not figure out where a couple of those players sharking from Penn State were, and just said, hey, we'll go ahead and let this one go. And Penn State was able to punish that beautifully and just open that game wide open in their favor, and were able to eventually knock that one out. So congratulations to Penn State, but Splatlanders, they still have a third place game that they get to play here and try to get a couple of extra bonus points to add on to the early leaderboard.
And one thing I do want to mention once again with the new format here at the CCA with the circuit format is the fact that these two teams still have a chance to play each other again and later circuits. This probably won't be the last time we'll see a Splatlanders PSU Blue game. We could see them again in the next coming circuit, whenever that is. I don't remember the day exactly off the top of my head.
Every 2 weeks. So I think the next one's a Sunday in 2 weeks. I don't know. We have all sorts of different days and times.
But yeah, no, this definitely won't be the last time PSU Blue and Splatlanders face off each other. And I know for a fact that if they face off each other again, Splatlanders will be coming back with a vengeance for this victory.
Yes, they certainly will. So both teams proving that they've got what it takes to hang with the best in Division 1. So they're definitely going to be sticking around the next qualifier they play in this division. So with that said, though, Penn State and Splatlanders awaiting the results of Arc Halley versus Red Emberz. It sounds like that set might be in game 2. So that's what it seems like. So we still got a little bit of time to wait before we can get going towards grand finals.
Man, these teams that came in today, even though it's a new format and some teams may not be on their best right now, especially given it's the first matches of the season. There's a little bit of de-rusting to come out here in this first circuit of the season. They still did phenomenally well. I always say this at the end of models of my blocks, but making it this far, you gotta be proud of yourselves for what you did. Even though you are unfortunately the first one to lose in the bracket circuit, or to lose in semifinals in the bracket, you made it this far. That's still some credit. And to add on to that extra sweetness, now you do get those points to help you in future circuits for your final placements.
Oh, absolutely. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for, because at the end of the day, if you're able to perform really well in, one or two circuits, that is a really surefire way to get into that capstone at the end of the semester. So like winning one qualifier probably isn't going to be enough, but if you can, win two qualifiers, I don't see a way in which you don't make it. And I think part of the fun of this is the storylines that are going to get built throughout, because one, we'll be keeping an eye out on the leaderboard. And then second, we also have, the way that teams qualify for these finals and these capstones. It's really, really interesting. And I don't know, Dark, if you've had a chance to see, how that actually works, but the top 16 from each division, and remember, divisions are dynamic, but that's a conversation for another day. Some of these teams, are going to be moving up and down divisions in each qualifier, but the top 16 teams for the qualifier that they are eligible for will play, but it's only the top 12 on the leaderboard, and there's 4 wildcard spots, which is basically the college football committee of the CCA decides 4 more teams that have proven themselves that maybe the leaderboard doesn't tell the full story. So one surefire way to catch the committee's eye early is to win a qualifier and to win qualifier number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like with those wild cards, it becomes even more important to try and just make a splash. Do your absolute best, because even if you don't necessarily get the points, or just shy from the points from actually qualifying, if you're just doing consistently well and just giving a blast of a show, you might be picked for those wild cards. And I said this earlier before, but I just like the circuit format in general. You get you get multiple chances to try and meet those qualifications for the big main event at the end of the year, and I've always been a fan of that format style.
Oh, certainly is. So it definitely makes for some fun conversations to be had. And oh, excuse me. But what we can do in the meantime is do a quick live look-in over to our YouTube stream, where we are covering, I believe this is the Division 3? No, this is supposed to be Division 2, but is Gummy's Division 2, Division 3? I thought we put them in 3. Anyway, sorry, I'm kind of going a little bit crazy here. I've been at my desk for way too long this week, to be quite blunt. But yes, it is Division 3 that we're looking at top cut-wise. Gummy's looking to close out this set, and with this cap here, they might be able to punch their ticket to grand finals.
I will say too, in a non-biased setting, I am a big fan of Goomies. I remember seeing their games, casting one of their games in the past, and I just loved what they've done. And I'm seeing them make it this far, and actually, as we see it in front of us right now, make it to grand finals. I am Goomies. If you're listening to this, I am your number 1 fan, which I cannot say if I was casting on the second stream over on YouTube, but because I'm not, you have a fan here.
The community feels as though it's a support.
Well, Goobies does advance to the grand finals. They will be taking on Long Beach Black, who is the reigning champions of CCA League Division 3. But this is an all new look Long Beach Black team, and they have perfectly carried on the legacy, it seems, of that division winning team from just a few months ago.
Yeah, it's these teams. It's always such a fun thing, such a cool thing to see them grow and improve as the years go by. I've casted TCA since I think season 3, and now as we head into season 2, one of the two, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's 3 though. Seeing these teams just gradually improve over time, it's always so cool to see. And I just mentioned how I'm in a non-biased setting, I'm a fan of Goomies and what they've done, because I've casted one of the games. It was a very entertaining game. Because I can say that because I've seen them grow from casting here at the CCA. And it's just such a cool thing to see, and I'm always loving to hear, and I'm always glad to be here whenever I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love having you, Dark. I mean, there's a reason why we ask you to come back time and time again. And we have you here, helping us cast the grand finals. And as we wait for this next set, we do have a quick score check in. It is 1 game apiece right now. So we are going to be waiting probably another, 5-6 minutes. PSU Blue has been kind of blitzing through a lot of these sets. And I know that they're going to definitely want to keep that going, regardless of who they face between Halley and Red Emberz.
Yeah, momentum is always such a big thing here with Splatoon and mentality and how you're just keeping your mental up. I've always preached this from time to time whenever I'm casting, but with especially in previous formats with the league and how long these games these sets can go for. You gotta have that stamina. You don't want to have a strong opening 3/4 of the run of the tournament and then just kind of peter out at the end because you don't really have that stamina. It's always such a huge thing, and since we are here waiting for 5 or 6 minutes, I'm hoping that PSU has the history that they do, that they don't really have those habits of just sort of petering out here at the end, especially right where it matters in the grand finals.
Yeah, certainly. So they're going to have to just try to stay a little bit warm. That they're going to get a little bit of a longer break than they anticipated. But I think what makes this, especially fun is that Halley is playing their 3rd consecutive Game 3. And, we've talked a lot about them. So, nothing against Red Emberz. I kind of want to see Halley just keep going with the Cinderella run. Like we mentioned, they do have a pretty new roster from what we are used to seeing out of UT Dallas. And, it's part of what makes the CCA so exciting is what we call the CCA arms race in the staff circles. Is every season, every semester, and especially when it comes to the fall semesters, you just get a lot of new folks coming in that you're like, wait, you go to what college? And you played for what team before? And that's the exact case here with UT Dallas. We have Brioche from Smoothie that is on this roster. So that's a massive pickup for them. And they have, it's at least what I'm gathering right now is that they might have had a bit of a rough start. It's a fairly new roster. Everyone's still trying to figure things out. But now they're really starting to, click and say, hey, okay, a little bit of rough beginning. Things are starting to make a little bit of sense now that we have, 12 games under our belt. Let's go ahead and just keep knocking out these other teams and see how far we can go.
And I will say, as the man of the people, half of me, I want to see them make it past Red Emberz because it would be such an exciting thing to see just this at least relatively brand new team on the scene, just utterly not necessarily wipe, but just take games off of these big names, taking a game off of Red Emberz, taking a name off these other teams who in Division 1 who, as far as we've seen so far, have been mainstays in this division. Big names that everyone knows and loves throughout the season. And to take a game off of them as a relatively new team, I want to see that story end in a high note. But, I have to be biased here because it's part of the gig. And I got to keep some money on Red Emberz because, it's what I like to call a safe bet,
Yeah. Red Emberz is definitely a very safe bet. If there was channel points that were on the line, I don't know, how quick could we do are any of them streaming? I guess that's the next question. If any of them are streaming, so it doesn't seem like there's any streams, but maybe we just do blind shot in the dark prediction of who wins game 3. But I don't know if we'll get it up fast enough, but I think that would be fun.
Something we could maybe mess around with the next circuit. See if we have another time like this, just put in a few channel points on a blind shot. At that point, it genuinely is a 50-50, and as a non-gambling man, I always take the 50-50.
And that's what it always comes down to. Honestly, when in doubt, just approach life what is the odds of this happening? 50-50. No matter what it is, just approach it like it's a 50-50. So I had a friend in college that did that all the time, where he would walk in, he'd be like, oh, I have a test today. I'm like, oh, how good are you feeling about it? He's like, 50-50, I pass or not. And I'm like, great. so glad that you have that level of enthusiasm and confidence that you're gonna do well, or either that or it just random things as well of even like if he was in a really good position, like in a game that he was playing, like 50-50 we actually win this, and I'm like, bro, you can't just say everything's a 50-50.
I know I have a somewhat relatively same experience with my own life. Whenever there's like not necessarily big important decisions, but like relatively like huge decisions, not thing like life-changing, because I wouldn't put life-changing decisions on this, but like if there's like just big decisions like that, I'd always put it on a coin flip, whether I'm undecisive or whatever it is I want to do. And the coin flip and putting which one I do isn't necessarily to actually commit to what the result is. It's more to see like my true feelings after seeing the initial thought. We're getting a little bit of a life experiment here at the CCA as we're on break, but to break things down a bit, the mentality of a coin flip and putting one decision on one and the other decision on the other is whenever you see that initial decision, let's say, oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna go to McDonald's or I'm not gonna go to McDonald's, right? Let's as the basic example, right? And it's heads for McDonald's, and it's heads, right? And you see that, and your initial thought was like, man, do I really want to go to McDonald's? That's telling you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's telling you don't want to go to McDonald's, and that reveals your true feelings. So it's like if there's indecisiveness with my friends, I always tell them flip a coin. That will tell you what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. That is well. We're gonna get philosophical here at the CCA circuit. So if our Halley and Red Emberz want to like save the audience from dark and DRF after dark, we'll hopefully we get game 3 and 2. But no, I definitely agree. Like that's actually a really interesting mentality, and it's a really great way to kind of just help you figure out exactly how you're feeling. It's just treat things like a 50-50, and then if it's something that you can always change, like you'll quickly realize exactly what it is you want.
Yeah, and it's more from I don't know where I got this from, but I got this from watching a YouTube video like ages ago. I genuinely don't remember the source at this point because it's been so long. I'm an old guy, by the way. The vapor from the voices of our head is trying to save us from this route we're taking. Is straight hot off the press, our Halley won against Red Emberz. A little bit of an upset to some.
Wow. The Cinderella run here in qualifier number 1 continues. That is phenomenal. I don't know what to say. Our Halley, who struggled. They lost 1-2 to the Husky Splatsville Knights in round 1. They lost 1-2 to Walk in round 2. They lost 1-2 to PSU Blue in round 3. And then to punch their ticket to the top 16, 3-0'd Springfield, Ohio, to just propel their win percentages just enough to sneak in. And now they get the rematch in grand finals. Our Halley, let's see what you are made of.
I've turned this off once. I'm going to turn this off again, the bias part of me. But as a Texan, once again, I got to just give huge shout outs for our Halley, and I hope they win this. But turning the bias back on now, this definitely is going to be a very tight matchup. Our Halley has, you just mentioned, has beat off being some just very prominent names here in the CCA, and now they're going up against PSU Blue again in grand finals. This is where things are really going to start heating up. This is where the pressure has all been built to, and we're not at a best of 3 anymore. We're in a best of 5, so there's a little bit more wiggle room to try and get that win over the other.
Yeah, and this is a strikeout system, so the teams have a list of 7 maps. They will have to decide what they're striking out. Penn State, being the higher seed, number 2 seed in this bracket, will get to strike first. Our Halley as the 16 seed, which is wild to see. I mean, what the March Madness is this? They will get to strike second after Penn State. And Penn State has elected to strike out Splat Zone's Robo Ramen. Now we await the strikeout from Arc Halley. They will have to choose between Rainmaker Undertow, Clamblitz Humpback, Power Control Inkblot, Splats Mako, Rainmaker Scorch, and Clamblitz Museum, and they are going to strike Rainmaker Scorch Gorge. So game 1 and game 6 removed. That means that we are going to be kicking things off on Rainmaker Undertow.
Honestly, I thought they would have struck out Undertow. I don't think anyone likes that, man. I'm pretty sure.
Undertow? Really?
In Undertow, I've seen a lot of people like just don't like
okay,
Undertow.
but the community also can't decide how it feels on a lot of things a lot of the time.
I mean,
like,
yeah. But also, I think Scorch Gorge. I'm pretty sure Scorch Gorge is always higher than Undertow, even though they're both the. From what I've seen, anyways,
I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Clamblitz Humpback.
Clamblitz Humpback. It's a good map. I like that map.
I love Clamblitz Humpback, but that was probably if I had to guess, that was probably the main complaint that we got when we released the map pool. Like, it wasn't even Marlin Zones. Like, I think people actually willing to give Marlin Zones a chance, but it was Clamblitz Humpback that people saw was like, why? Like, you know, and that and Tower Control Barnacle. Tower Control Barnacle, I will consider that was the, you know, particularly spicy choice. But Clamblitz Humpback was probably a close second in terms of people kind of looking at it and be like, huh?
Here's the thing, though. In order to keep things interesting, you have to throw those curveballs in.
Oh, absolutely.
I genuinely love the Barnacle Tower Control pick on that. I want that. I'd like to see that chaos in there. But no, I'm surprised you said the Humpback Clams.
Yeah, I'm honestly a pretty big fan of Clamblitz on Humpback, but I know a lot of people, you know, I think it's just that you can, I guess it's the way that you can lock out there. You know, I'm not quite sure why people are so, you know, a bit touchy with Clamblitz on Humpback. It is the second best mode in my opinion on Humpback, maybe. I don't know, but we'll have to see how these two teams tackle that in game number 2. For now, it will be Rainmaker on Undertow for game 1, and these teams are officially in weapon select.
I'm eager to see what Arc Halley brings to the table. We've seen PSU Blue already here on the stream already, so there's going to be not really too many surprises they're going to be pulling on here, but Arc Halley fresh on the stream. I think this also might be just, have they played earlier in the stream? If so, or if not,
no, they have not. Neither PSU Blue was on the stream for the first time in that last round, and Arc Halley, I don't think has been on yet, but I don't know. It's been a long day. I can't remember anymore.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna call it anyway. This is gonna be their debut game here at the CCA on stream against PSU Blue in grand finals of the first circuit. That's one heck of a debut for anyone.
Yeah, so let's see what these teams end up bringing out for us. We should be getting into game number 1 shortly, and I'm just so excited to see, you know, especially with the newcomers like Brioche and V coming in. Like, these two players, they might have run into each other before, not ever realized it, and, you know, this could be a brand new story to be written. And you also have those veterans like Snow and Lil David coming in from PSU and Arc Halley as well. So it's just gonna be a mishmash of veterans, rookies, top level talent from the general community, and those up and comers. So there's just so much to be analyzed here and written, and let's get right into it, Dark.
Ooh.
It's game 1 of grand finals here in Qualifier 1.
A carbon roller deco. I mean, if you see a high level carbon deco roller player, there's going to be a little bit of fear installed into you, as both of your teams making breakaway to the Rainmaker to get the first pop, and the first pop does go to PSU Blue. Arc Halley pulling back a bit to create some space in order to try and see exactly what pickoff they can get first.
Yeah, it's good. V gonna be rushing here, able to trade out Arc Halley with the slight advantage in their favor, and awesome. Picking off Kev there as well. J Money gonna back up and try to protect that left checkpoint. Everybody on Arc Halley, they're trying to paint the way. This should be a relatively free checkpoint 1. Snow coming in from behind, gonna try to shut out Vessel, able to do so. It's going to be a trade. Arc Halley keeps the numbers in their favor, and they are on a roll here in the opening minute.
we're seeing firsthand exactly why they made it this far in this first circuit. Halley is no one to be messing with as they take the Rainmaker to 29 and in the first minute of this game. That's a phenomenal push against PSU Blue.
Phenomenal might be an understatement, as Brioche now trying to poke this Rainmaker. J Money having to tread very carefully, trying to get some jump ins, is now just gonna opt to reset it. A great choice, recognizing that their team was not in a great position there, and if they went down, it was gonna get sticky real quick. So they're gonna force Halley to play this back from mid, trying to see if they can buy some time for their teammates to move on back in. Snow popping the Zuka, not able to find any value. It's once again Halley in control, but they do lose a couple of members here from J Money on the flank.
Ooh, and picking up that Rainmaker, they're gonna make a breakaway for that right checkpoint, but no, there was someone from Halley to stop that from being spinning out of control, as now the Rainmaker is once again just resting in mid, as these two teams are just playing a game of footsies with each other, trying to get that first pick, trying to get that first advantage over the other with the Trizuka online. It's creating space, 2 Trizukas online, but no! 1 goes down to Brioche as the Rainmaker does reset!
Oh, that was a great pick there. PSU Blue just can't seem to find their footing right now. They're gonna need to really start enabling these Slayers to move up and just work together and find some team fights. We are halfway through this game, and PSU Blue just really hasn't had much going for them. But a quick little double there. But everyone on Halley is quick with the specials and now trying to launch everything they've got at PSU Blue. See if they could add more points to the board, slowing the push down just a little bit. Now gonna try to make a move with these tri-strikes, able to do so. Zuka coming out now. V trying to hold down the front line, having to back up now. It is a wide open path for Halley, but they don't recognize it yet. And now they're gonna go ahead and slow this one down. Now making a move. J Money from the top rope, able to pick off that Rainmaker. 6 more points added onto the board. A 2v2 situation around the final checkpoint here. And it's going to be PSU Blue that survives this push and is able to reset it once more.
These two teams are beautifully dancing around one another as they're just constantly taking these back and forth trains, getting space, blocking them out, denying them from pushing. It's just a very wonderful thing to see these players, just high-level players, play against each other. But now we're at 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. PSU Blue is at a major disadvantage. That first checkpoint's not only still not taken, but Halley took their points down to 23. That's a near knockout scenario from my books, as 2 does go down for PSU Blue, which is not what you want to see right now as you head into the final minutes.
Yeah, PSU Blue still coming up with not a whole lot out of 4 minutes here. They just have not had an opportunity to make a push towards that pedestal. Their best look was that flank off of J Money about 2 minutes ago, and they just have not been able to put together a team push since. Halley with a couple of specials at the ready. PSU Blue going to retaliate here. Snow trying to find an opening on the right pedestal, but it looks like they're gonna switch this one to the left. 2 members from Halley on that right side, and PSU Blue should be able to get some points on the board with this VAC, but the VAC needs to move up with them. Not able to do so, and Halley gets the stop.
A little bit too slow with that movement, and now that's a wipeout for PSU Blue. I think this game's good is done right there with Halley, Rainmaker in hand. Only 2 members to try and contest that from PSU Blue. They have all the room in the world to just play defensively, back up, or play as aggressively as they want. 5 seconds of counting, 2 players are down from each side, but the Rainmaker is still in Halley's hand, and they take this first game.
Wow, what a showing from Halley in game number 1 in grand finals. They have had to scrap and claw their way here, and they opened up this game like they know they belong here.
They definitely do belong here. To take such a dominant lead over PSU Blue in the first game shows Halley they have the stuff to be here. They have the stuff to play with these legendary teams here at the CCA, and they're not gonna just roll over if they get pushed back. PSU Blue, even though they did phenomenally in trying to slow this game down, Halley was just too much for them.
Yeah, it was just a little too late. It felt like PSU Blue for some reason just felt out of sync. Like they just could not keep 4 of them up for too long, and it just felt like everyone was trying to pull their team plays and the objective in a couple different directions. Some of the specials just weren't in line with the push as well. Like this back, I think could have allowed a clean checkpoint 1, but they kind of stayed a little bit further back. So PSU Blue gonna have to clean things up a little bit as we look towards Clamblets on Humpback. I feel like PSU might do a little bit better there, given that it's gonna be a little bit. Obviously, Humpback's still a very open map, but the way that the objective sort of funnels, I think they'll do okay, and we know that they love to flank. So PSU Blue, I think, even though this was a rough game 1, is going to have a much better time in game 2.
And since now we're at the best of 5, they aren't exactly on a lifeline just yet. They still have another 2 games of wiggle room to try and make some things start working in their favor. PSU Blue, even though they lost this first game, and honestly a pretty dominant loss from them against Halley, they still have a good 2 games to try and flip things, trying to learn from the past, try and learn what Halley does wrong and capitalize off that and execute in order to make those losses into their own victories.
Exactly. So time will tell on that to see if PSU Blue can come up with a response. But until then, we are just waiting to see what these teams are cooking. A little bit of extended time here between these individual games as well. These teams, I believe, do have 5-member rosters apiece. So we are very likely seeing some form of substitutions, is my guess. But we will, again, it's kind of one of those things we just have to see.
I will say, I just Brioche out the gate, just putting in the work for Halley, keeping PSU Blue on the back foot constantly. It was honestly kind of an amazing thing to see. I don't know the player that well. I haven't heard the name of Brioche, nor have I know much of Smoothies. Allegedly, that's the team they're from what I've heard from UDRS.
Yes.
But yeah, I have a very poor way of matching players with teams, so.
I struggle with that too. Don't worry, you are not the only one. Like I always have to ask Vapor, like we're like an old couple that like I keep forgetting my keys. Like where did I put my keys? I have to be like, so what team is X player from? Because I have no clue half the time, probably 80% of the time.
Yeah, that's one thing we can just bond over. But as we see here, one thing that is catching me a little bit by surprise is seeing the Tri-Slasher off of Halley, a swap in.
Yeah, so this is going to be just a little bit different here for these 2 teams. I do, if I get to talk about the Tri-Novel, it is a good day. So that's what we're going to be seeing out of Halley, and it's a fantastic choice, as that is going to do wonders to reach over a lot of these curved edges of the map, and the cooler will enable some very quick plays, quick movement, a lot of jumping, what you could probably anticipate as well coming out of Halley.
And now these 2 teams are playing a pretty prolonged game of footsies, as they're just constantly creating space, taking away space, and getting in engagements, getting maybe just 1 or 2 stray picks that don't really convert into much of anything. As we hit 1 minute and no points scored at the moment, as now Halley are looking to push in mid, push PSU Blue back to try and potentially be the first one to get the few points on their side. And one does go down. Can they get another pick as they fight for this right side? They do not get the pick as V gets 2.
I love that both of our eyes just gravitated towards that fight in the corner. We knew that something big was gonna happen there, and V with a huge double to keep PSU in control of mid, despite the slight numbers disadvantage they currently have. They've been juggling a couple of footballs here, and now they're gonna lose 2 members again. So now it's up to Snow and Kev to try to prevent the first score from being Halley's score to have. And oh, a bit of a battle on the elbow as well is going to cause Halley to lose the football, and that's probably not going to be retrievable, although Brioche is going to try to make it happen. No, they're going to go ahead and let that ball expire. Said that that's a lost cause. We're going to go ahead and reset, see if we can build up another power clam, and Brioche setting up another flank. No, going to back off into mid, and it is an absolute bloodbath right now, Dark. Nobody can figure out where they want to be and when.
We're seeing a tried and true classic Hamlet's game, DRM, and these two teams are halfway through this game, and no points have been scored, but there's been so many trades, so many
Jay!
and they triple! Minus flip spin that leads into a wipeout! That's PSU's blue and Q to just go in and get points, but they can't, but they don't have the clan economy!
Where's the football? They don't have it! Oh, what a missed opportunity! PSU Blue got the wipeout, but honestly, neither of these teams seems like they know how to play Clamlet's Humpback right now. This is the first time they're probably playing this in literally months, and honestly, it's making me think, damn, we did a good job of putting this in the map list, because this is just cinema right now as V finally gonna put an end to the misery and scores the first power clam of the game, +5 for PSU.
Finally getting a few points on the board. That leads into a wipeout of their own. 53 points off that initial push, 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. Even though they do have the wipeout, that clam basket is still up, meaning Halley cannot put any clams during that time. And now PSU Blue is meeting Halley back in to try and stall out this push as best they can, but no, they're getting into these random fights, this random utter chaos, as there's just back and forth between these two teams. I have no idea what's going to be happening next.
Oh, a couple jump-ins coming in here. Brioche able to dunk the power clam, but no, it is going to be effectively a delayed wipe because And Awesome is not going to get much value out of here, and they get sent back to the espresso machines as well. So it's going to be a one and done for Halley. PSU Blue survives the push and does a great job of closing that one out as we approach the last 45 seconds of gameplay. Halley quickly trying to build up their clam economy. They do get another power clam, but V said, not today. I'm going to call this one out. Give me 1, give me 2, give me 3, and PSU Blue will score again.
And I think this just might seal Halley's fate right now. PSU Blue is on the offensive, and they're still getting this momentum is still going in their favor as they keep getting a few more clams in, and 3 goes down for Halley. This is a very dangerous situation right now. 14 seconds and counting as we head into the final countdown. There's still clams being put in the basket as there's a jump in, and I think that might be it with just 1 clam remaining. But that doesn't matter as we head 2-0. This is gonna go to game.
Wait, did they get the? Wait, did Snow have a clam? Where did the clam come from?
I don't think it was a clam.
Wait, where did it come from? Or was it? Or did the time run out? Wait, which was it?
That was a timeout.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it was the timer. Okay, gotcha. And there was no power clam on the side of Halley. Gotcha. So PSU Blue does tie the set. I mean, we had a dominant game from either side here. You could definitely see why PSU Blue did not want to be the ones to strike out Clamlet's Humpback, and probably much to their relief when they saw that Halley decided to keep it in the map list, because I know PSU Blue is one of those teams that they really do thrive on some of these unconventional map mode combinations. So they're probably just looking at this saying, hey, every time that Humpback Clamlets comes back, we know that we've got this, because that was such a confidence booster for them.
And just to show the utter chaos that game was here, if your confusion at the end here was nothing just short from the best.
Yeah, because Snow, like, look at Snow!
yeah, that's the point. Like, there's someone sitting right in the basket, and we see the timer clown, but there's no clams there. That just was a straight up timeout right then and there. These two teams, it's just, I have no idea what's gonna be happening next, because they're just colliding each other at the face value. They're neck and neck.
Yeah, so we've had a dominant game from Halley, a dominant game from PSU Blue. What will the story be in game number 3 when we eventually go to which PC Inkblot. Thank you, Vapor, for saving me. I was frantically trying to pull up the map list.
Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy. That is the tried and true here in this Splatoon competitive scene. Almost everyone has just done countless hours on this map. They know it like the back of their hands. And really, this game is just genuinely gonna boil down to which team can play better. And we're gonna see exactly who will be just the better team on a mechanical level as we head to this game number 3.
Well, taking a look at the compositions. Minor adjustments. Lil David continuing to just bring out a variety of different sloshers for us, now pivoting over to that machine. So an interesting choice there, given that's the vanilla machine, where we are typically used to seeing the Nouveau there. And PSU Blue, I believe, sticking entirely with the same composition here as well. So that's all. So pretty much both these teams know exactly what they want to play, and we're going to continue to see this throughout the set as PSU Blue, J Money, running away with the tower, and despite the numbers disadvantage, how did they let that get all the way to checkpoint 1? Luckily for Arcaley, they stop it before they could break it.
A little bit of just a objective, just tunnel visioning and ignoring who's actually on the objective right now, as now Arcaley has control of the tower and they're looking to march this forward to that first checkpoint. But no, we see Snow just stalling this out and preventing them from getting that checkpoint, and we see 3 go down for Arcaley. PSU Blue now at the advantage. Are looking to try and collide on this final player and try and make as much space as they can so they can get that first checkpoint without any issue.
Yeah, so this will be checkpoint 1 falling in PSU's favor. They're gonna brute force it despite the numbers disadvantage. Kev trying to use the vacuum, but getting pushed into a very disadvantageous position from the tower. And Arcaley will grab control here. PSU Blue seeing if they could come up with a stop themselves, but a huge double. I'm not sure who got that or where it came from, but this will be Arcaley's opportunity to respond with a checkpoint of their own and possibly the lead.
And that's the kind of flip you want to see for Arcaley. PSU Blue being forced on the back foot, but no, the Zuko from downtown managed to get the pick, but it doesn't slow them down. It does nothing to stop that tower from moving, as it's already at that second checkpoint, just waiting to be pushed even further. But they do manage to recover that unfortunate, tragic ad state, as now things are heading back to a neutral state. These teams are going to be playing out a bit of footage to try and see if they can keep the momentum going or stop it in its place.
Oh, and Awesome gonna dive in there on Snow. 2-person advantage. Make that 3. And Awesome is on the plat of PSU Blue and causing absolute havoc. Everybody on PSU Blue now needs to turn their attention to And Awesome, who pulls out the Zuka as well. And this is going to allow Arcaley a massive push, but J Money coming in from behind and it's gonna get shut down by Brioche. The Booyah Bomb coming out as well. Arcaley opening up this lead massively now. And PSU Blue has to try to hold on to their bats, and V is able to pick off the tower, able to slow things down just a little bit. J Money gonna make a move towards the tower now as well, but loses the 1v3 situation, and this is starting to spiral out of control, Dark.
This is a very dangerous situation for PSU. Once that checkpoint does get checked, it's going to be a very difficult thing to recover, as that checkpoint is now gone. Arcaley has had the home run here as they're trying to get this tower pushed back as far as they can, but there's still Snow just hiding the ink to try and prey on anyone who is not paying too close attention to the ink surrounding ink. But no, 2 goes down for PSU Blue. Arcaley is looking to try and shove this tower as far in as they can, but that's a delayed wipeout. PSU barely manages to hang on.
Yeah, they came up with a clutch stop there, but now with a minute and a half to play, they need to take this tower coast to coast in order to get back the lead and possibly win this game. So it is a mountain to climb, but if anyone can rise to the occasion, it is PSU Blue, and they're gonna start with unleashing a couple of specials they have at the ready. Not able to find any value there. Snow looking at that step, seeing if they could get up onto plat. Not going to be able to do so. This tower is just sitting in mid right now. Nobody is trying to make a move for this objective quite yet. PSU Blue wants to be certain that they can get a pick first, and they clear Brioche. A massive win there for PSU Blue, but V is going to lose the battle on plat. And now this tower starts moving, and there's a disconnect! Oh, disaster for PSU as University Wi-Fi strikes in game number 3 of Grand Finals.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, in between, that's what you just not want to see right then and there. Right when things were starting to look like it could go either way, there's an unfortunate disconnect, meaning this game should be no problem for Ark Halley.
Yeah, and they're gonna see if they could get this tower all the way to the other end, if they could knock it out before time runs up. But I think they're gonna go ahead and just wait this one out. PSU trying everything they can to keep this game alive, but Ark Halley will win game number 3, and they are at tournament point.
This is it for Ark Halley. You've come back from a very, very close round robin scenario to grand final. Now you're at 2-1 over PSU Blue. You've done such a phenomenal job, and this is where you actually have to just keep things in check, not let the pressure build to you too much.
And as we look towards the next game, it's going to be Splat Zone's Mako Mart. And just based off of the way these teams have been playing, I do really like this for Ark Halley. They seem to have been able to thrive on a couple more of the traditional map modes. Whereas, like we said, PSU Blue, they live sometimes for some of those unconventional choices. And they did fantastic in Clan Blitz. But if we do get to a game 5, I think that has PSU Blue written all over it. It is going to be Clan Blitz on Museum. And we saw what they did with Clan Blitz Humpback. So PSU Blue needs to find a way to get it together and survive game number 4. I don't think it's going to be a dominant performance by any means. They just need to, get in there and meet those exact requirements that the Splatoon gods are asking of them to win this game.
I mean, a win is a win, and right now PSU Blue is probably just will take whatever it can get in order to stay in this for a little bit longer. I mean, with where these games have been so far, it's been back and forth. These two teams at this point know each other relatively well. They have the means and the tools necessary to dominate the other and ensure those victories. And now it's going to be a matter of, can PSU Blue use those tools to their advantage and make sure they win this next game so they can go to that game 5. I am a man of people. I always say this to every single time I'm on casting in this scenario, but I want to see that game 5 no matter who it is. So PSU Blue, I want you to just lock in for this game 4 and take us to that game 5. Make this an explosive grand finals.
You are so right, Dark. I am all for it. If PSU Blue can send Ark Halley to their 4th consecutive max number of games, that is going to be wild. But let's do it. Diving on in. Kev, back over to the Explosher. Lil David, back over to that Vanilla Slosher. This is going to be fun as PSU Blue diving that zone early on, but it's going to be Ark Halley that wins first control here, and we're going to seesaw back and forth just a little bit early on as the specials are quickly unleashed by PSU Blue. Those killer whales getting a ton of value.
I will say, I think that explosion is going to be a little bit of an issue for Ark Halley since there is a bit of a range disparity between these two weapon comps. But as I say that explosion goes down to a Trizuka, and now Ark Halley has control of the zone, and they're looking to try and flush out anyone from PSU Blue who's trying to come in right now. And they do unfortunately get picked off by one member of PSU Blue, flipping the tables right here and now.
Wow, it's all Ark Halley still so far. Jay sharking just a little bit, seeing if they could poke somebody out. No, not going to be able to do so. PSU Blue needed to get that zone flip. Snow pokes out and misses, and Halley is gonna see if they could close this one out right here, right now. They're not gonna let PSU Blue even sniff this zone one again, but V is gonna come on in and find one, trying to find a second, not able to do so. A neutral zone. PSU Blue doing everything they have at this zone to try to force the penalty, and they do get it. 60 points tacked on to Halley.
In a last-ditch effort to try to stay alive for a little bit longer, PSU Blue does manage to flip the zone, giving Halley a huge penalty for their points. But it may not be too much longer for this game, as they're already ticking away at those penalty points. Only a total of 50 points and counting for Halley. And now PSU Blue is put on the back foot as they're being forced back by Halley. But now without this much on their own, they're looking to try and re-engage this mid right here to try and at least take zones, flush out any members of Halley. And with 3 down, that's going to be a zone flip.
And awesome, the only one left standing from Halley will get sent back to spawn. And PS Blue finally gets their footing in this game. But of course, as I say that, V takes a point-blank Zuka, and J is forced to retreat. They're gonna try playing from behind Halley, see if they can find some opportunities to pinch with their teammates. Halley knows that J money is there, but they're going to just continue to keep their heads pointed forward. Now, finally, V's going to come in and support Jay and is able to pick off one. Jay going to slip away. V's going to get picked off by Vessel. Vessel picking a fight with Snow, and it's a chain reaction right now, Dark. Everybody picking each other off, but it's PSU Blue that comes out on top in this team fight.
And it's that chaos that PSU Blue needs to try and take advantage of over Halley in order to keep them off their foot, keep them off their foot and groove, and make sure they have no room to breathe. As we see, PSU Blue does manage to take 50 points, and they're still counting. They maintain control against all odds, and Halley are looking to try and make sure this game doesn't slip away from their fingers, as PSU Blue is now at 30 points and counting. There's a back and forth trade between the two teams, but 2 down for Halley. This could be a lead for PSU Blue as they're going, and they just barely not make it. Halley holds on and gets the zone into the neutral state, and they're desperately trying to take control, but PSU Blue is holding on strong, but unfortunately Halley does take the zone once again.
What a last-ditch effort there from Halley to hold control, but PSU Blue said, fine, you get the zone. We're gonna get a couple of quick picks here and see if we could just work our way back. And they are slowly chipping away at that penalty. 30 points stand between them and the lead, but no, Halley moves in with those trip strikes and is able to flip the lead. And they are now in a 2v2 situation. Lil David taking on Snow here. Plat is going to win that one out. Is looking for V as well. If they could take out V, this could be an absolute spiral into Halley's favor, but no, gonna be forced back instead. That Explosher continuing to deal some chip damage all around to Halley. And with 45 seconds to play, Halley is looking to get out of the penalty. PSU gonna play this very patient, said, hey, we'll go ahead and just play your game for now. We're gonna unleash these specials and see if we can flip this zone, but they are 2 down. They're gonna have to make one last ditch effort, and this one might be over, and it is Halley with the Cinderella run in Qualifier 1 and writes a new chapter in CCA history.
Oh my, I am at a loss for words right there. PSU Blue were desperately holding control for as long as they can during those last few minutes of that game. But Halley just barely managed to hold on just long enough for them to take control zone and just cruise that lead into victory, making them your grand champions for this first circuit here at the CCA.
UT Dallas has been here since just about the beginning, and alas, they have come up with their first tournament win in this new era team. Halley, give yourselves a pat on the back, because UT Dallas and everyone that has come before you, you have done them proud.
Such an extraordinary performance by both of these two teams. Even though, unfortunately, PSU Blue just weren't able to clutch it up at the end, they still make it to second place, which gives them a hefty amount of points for this circuit, which is nothing to be laughed at. It gives you good leverage for the remainder of the season for other potential future circuits. So even though it's an unfortunate better defeat here, you still go home with a decent amount of cash.
Figuratively.
Yes, yes, make that clear.
I don't have money. I just want to be clear on that. So, but no, you're absolutely right, Dark. You know, the economy that is the leaderboard, there is plenty to go around, and Halley is gonna come out with a good chunk of points there. They won 6-6 in the Swiss stage, so they'll get 150 points from there, plus the 250 for winning the tournament. So that's 400 points that we should be seeing Halley get to kick off this leaderboard. But I think PSU might have been so dominant in the Swiss stage that they probably still also have 400 points or something near it. So it's probably going to be a near tie at the top, just because Halley had the crazy run in the group stage, but PSU Blue was so dominant in the Swiss stage.
And it's stuff like that, which is why you have to play the other circuits to try and take those point differentials and try to make them even grander or close the gap, so you can be the one just barely edging out the other on top. And it's, I keep saying this again, but it's just one of the many things I like about this circuit, the circuit format. It creates these rivalries among the leaderboards for future runs of this tournament. PSU Blue versus Halley. If they ever show up at least in the bracket part of the circuit in the future, we'll be looking at them with blood in their eyes. They want that run back from both ends to either make sure they can put PSU Blue down and make sure Halley knows that they are top, or PSU Blue can get the run back and gets revenge for this honestly kind of a bitter defeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, this rivalry runs deep, because UT Dallas and PSU Blue go all the way back to Season 1 of the CCA League, when PSU Blue lost in the Division A. We didn't even have numbers back then. It was a Division A third place match in a reverse sweep. So, like, it goes all the way back then. We got a little bit of quiet from UT Dallas. They've always been around, but, you know, we hadn't seen them quite back up at the top, you know, since Season 2-ish. And now they are here, and they are ready to stake their claim once again to the CCA and say, hey, you know, you might have forgotten about us, but we are so back, baby.
Back indeed. And just a huge shout out for everyone else who played today. Your points will be, I act like I'm part of the moderation team, but I'm not. I'm just here to make the loud moments loud, but to give voice to the people in the back seats. Your points will be delivered, and I'll hand off all that numbers crunchy to everyone else. But still, a huge shout out to everyone who played, and be proud of you for the performance, or use your defeat to fuel your future performances and make your next runs better.
Certainly. Well, a phenomenal match to kick off, a phenomenal tournament. I mean, let's be real, to kick off this first qualifier. And real quick, shout out to our other division winners. Egg Spaghetti claiming Division 2 over Surging C out of the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. So congrats to the UC Berkeley squad. Cal State Long Beach Black winning 3-2 over the Goomies in Division 3, and Division 4 Crab and Go. They are very quickly staking their claim for promotion to Division 3, maybe even Division 2, who knows, with a perfect run through the bracket and a 3-0 Grand Finals victory over Stingray Incorporated.
What a phenomenal run this was. The scores of themselves says it, but I don't want to be a broken record here. We are starting to wrap up things here because it is starting to get late, and we are running way over time, so I won't waste any other time. So, DRF, my buddy, friend, pal, where can they find you?
You can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TriteDRF, but per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel covering all things Collegiate Splatoon. Dark, my friend, plug yourself.
You can find me both at Twitter and Twitch, and most other socials, just hanging around at SP_Dark, where I stream from time to time and repost random nonsense. And I just have an all-around good time. I am a constant caster when my schedule allows it, which usually means every week or every 2 weeks. So you can see me somewhere right here at CCA, other places like Dapple or Splatoon Journey, or even maybe IPO in the future.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Dark, for sticking with us. Thank you, Vapor, and to all of the staff, production folks, commentators that made Qualifier 1 what I hope is a smashing success. We will see you all in a couple of weeks for Qualifier number 2.
What a great Zuka play there. Another Zuka on the side, finding one, finding two. Love Bullet on a record right now, trying to find these picks in a row. Can they find on the wiper? Yes, they will. Nito, they find a trade. No, you're kidding me.
In a relatively neutral state right now, as there's just back and forth picks, back and forth specials being used. But Cold comes in and gets 2 picks, creating so much space as the Red Emberz is being forced on the back foot. As now they have the power come ready, and no, there's still one player standing against the pick, but the clan.
Go down. Chris is now just trying to hold this left side of the zone as the Viper's going to apply some pressure. Bombs are going to come on through as we are to see Big Nut try to apply a blaster pick, and they will lead swap those switches over to Undertow Darfish as they're applying a lot of pressure. Mr. Peanut pops a cooler in a little bit of a panic, and Sploosh Man with a double swipe